So digital holds a strong promise for Asia Pacific. Digital will account for about 27% by 2017 of Asia Pac's total ad revenues, up from its current 19%. And the view is that digital will gain slightly against print and radio, although it must be stated different markets are at different stages. And I think you find markets such as India, print is still a growing medium and still well used. In fact, I was at a forum recently and someone from the Times of India was sharing the story. They were producing a very small format newspaper, delivering it into the schools to again educate the children in reading newspapers and getting used to the feel. APAC's digital ad revenues are expected to grow at a compound 15% from about 26 billion up to about 53 billion by 2017. And in 2015, Asia Pac will displace Europe as being the second largest region by digital ad revenues. Again, different markets at different stages, and again, each one of those markets will require some local knowledge in order to adapt the strategy that will work for there. But still, as part of the market share, there's still a disproportionate amount of ad spend going to TV compared with TV users and digital users. And there's an expectation to see that rebalance over the near future. Now, driving this is obviously investments in the networks. Increased investment in telecom networks, increasing the reach as well as the network capacity in Asia Pac. Asia Pacific accounted for 40% of the global network capex in 2012. And again, as we talked about before, governments need to have support and subsidies to drive some of that network connectivity. India, with their national broadband plan to have about 160 million broadband connections in the near future. Likewise, we've heard about China, and they're continuing to do a fiber optic network rollout, along with some growth in their 3G, 4G infrastructure. Singapore, as we heard this morning, it's also gone with the national broadband network. And again, these kind of developments are critical to putting the infrastructure that allows some of this digital opportunity to be realized. Malaysia, likewise, is spending vast amounts of money combined with the telcos. And in Australia, where I'm from, they've also got a national government-backed plan to build the broadband network. Wireless subscribers will grow rapidly at a compound growth of 36% over 2012 to 2017 to reach 2 billion. Penetration of wireless broadband subscribers in Asia Pacific is expected to reach about 48% by 2017, up from its current 16%. And again, I think if you think of some of the stats that Yoku were quoting there, you can see where that infrastructure is required to get the user experience and the type of content to flow easily. We've also had that proliferation of mobile devices. And at the moment, you're going to see more low-cost, more capable mobile devices, increasing consumer accessibility to media services and driving user engagement. It's expected that tablet shipments are likely to grow at a compound 20% from 53 million in 2012 up to 136 million, and smartphone shipments to grow at a compound 24% from 235 million up to about 690 million. So again, you see that more devices, more users, more infrastructure, more bandwidth, more content, more advertising dollars. It's a bit of a virtuous cycle, and it's now a case of how to get in there and tap that market. Now, as we heard from Yoku, it's not always easy and plain sailing. There are challenges. And obviously, some of the challenges are the increased competition in digital. There's much lower barriers to entry. And if you think about companies like Yoku, PP Live, and some of the more digital companies, they have been starting from scratch with low infrastructure, low legacy systems compared to some of the traditional media companies. The return on investment is still a challenge out in that digital space. So still some way to move with the advertising revenues and the return on those investments. And one of the key cultural aspects, and it's known in Asia Pac, there is a low propensity to pay for content. And as you heard there with the previous speaker, revenue, revenue, revenue. That's the key goal, how to monetize this. And likewise, combining with the issues of piracy, which are extremely high in the Asia Pac region. So some of the strategies that media and entertainment companies need to put in, as we heard, offering premium and customized content online. Another company, PP Live, a peer-to-peer video broadcast site in China, has struck deals with over 120 broadcasters to offer live sports and self-produced content. And that's interactive content as well. Tencent, another one of the Chinese companies, recently signed a deal with Walt Disney Company to stream a collection of Disney, Pixar, and Marvel movies on their Hollywood VIP service. Bigflix in India, again an on-demand movie provider, has partnered with Disney to make an offering of action movies and animation, and again, giving alternatives in HD. But playing with those models is also going to be quite important for that innovation. And there's been some work done in India around the cricket, where not only can you subscribe for the streaming, the live streaming, but subscribers can watch specific windows of the match. For example, the fall of a wicket or a massive 6 hit into the crowd. These kind of new models, again, is part of that innovation in a way to digitize the content. As we heard earlier as well, the offering of anytime access is key. That's what your customers expect. That's what you must be able to offer. And we heard about examples here in Singapore with StarHubTV.com offering on-demand and catch-up videos. Likewise with Yoku, same kind of thing, catch-up and on-demand video. In Bigflix in India, similar kind of thing with a freemium model, so you get certain movies for free and then migrate you up into that pay bracket. But as we heard before, interoperability is going to be key. You have to be able to offer this across any platform, anytime for your users to keep that user experience. Baidu, one of the big search engines, offers that capabilities across platforms and reaches about 80 million mobile subscribers and apps downloaded. I think we had here as an example in Singapore where MediaCorp offered live telecast of the Singapore National Day and did that across the multiple forms we heard of: toggle, TV, radio, out of home, and online. Driving user engagement, we've heard how the second screen is going to be a whole new opportunity. And again, that connectedness with the customer, using your customer to help you come up with the new ideas, the new services, and the new series, and the new content. Increased user engagement has helped companies enhance their audience base, thereby driving up the ad revenues. By increasing the user engagement in companies, you'll then start to move them along the pay from a free model to a paid model, and also some of the micropayments along the way. Tencent has released the first game targeted at its messaging app, WeChat. The game implements a freemium model and then uses micropayments. So again, using that customer engagement to launch some of the new products. As we said before, monetization is pretty key. And I guess it would take time to have a look at the online gaming industry, which has probably been one of the more successful ones at taking people from free to paid to micropayments, all into one model. And it's known now that about 64% of Chinese gamers pay for online games each month. And that's the sort of engagement and monetization that everyone's looking for. It's funny, Tencent announced their increase in profits was driven through growth with online games and e-commerce. And Tencent expects to benefit from promoting games on its WeChat app. One of the company's first promoted games on WeChat gained 25 million daily active users within 10 days. So that kind of scale-up is immense. But as we talked about before, there are some complex challenges to be done in this digital era, and companies need to become more agile. There's a lot of challenges faced with the rapidly changing technologies, platforms, and distribution models. So there's a number of things that need to be in place for companies to cope with this pace. First one is advanced social listening. You must have programs that put the customer at the center of what you're doing. You've seen some successful models with Amazon and their finely tuned recommendation engine, and similar kind of things working on YouTube. Again, fine-tuning to what the user actually wants to see. But again, that doesn't come easily. The back office, the systems, all have to be aligned in order to give you one view of the customer. I'm working with a client who's a film distributor, and they were planning to take a movie and take it straight to DVD. Just before that decision, the film won a couple of awards and started to build up a little bit of a cult following. So they had a large social media Facebook community. They went out to the community, asked them what they thought, and the overwhelming response came back and gave them the decision to put it in the cinema circuit first before it going to DVD. So again, that use of interaction with your customers and then helping your customers make some business decisions for you. Cutting edge analytics. As you can imagine from some of the stats we saw earlier, there is a massive amount of value to be had in analytics. It helps to drive new services, but it also will be able to drive new service lines, but the chances are you're going to have to work and partner with other businesses to see how you can use that information. They say that the sexiest job of the future will be our data engineers and data scientists. Also, speed to market with your products. You just need to get the stuff put together and out to market and let your customers take it that final step. They will help and guide you to where you need to end up in the final position for your products, rather than trying to do too much in-house and miss the market chance. And cloud-based infrastructure. Many of the new companies have started with a cloud-based infrastructure which gives them a lot of flexibility in their cost base. So again, traditional companies need to go into that path to be able to compete with these new competitors. And likewise, an innovation and a fail-fast mentality is going to be critical as you go forward, because you have to be able to learn from your mistakes and then move forward. In regards to digital agility, there are a number of key planks to this. The first one really comes down to the leadership and culture. It's critical that you have a centralized strategy and you have it led from the top. And it needs to be a centralized strategy to be able to get the full gains across the entire group. You can't afford to have silo mentality, not sharing across the group for the benefit of the group. Likewise, there's going to be a large skill up in the data analytics space. And as I say, they will become the jobs of the future. And 43% of executives in our recent study said acquiring digital skills was one of the key strategic issues they faced. And finally, looking at the cost base is going to be critical to actually being able to give yourself a scalable and flexible cost base. We conducted a survey of about 500 global M&E executives and asked them what they expected to see over the coming future. And a startling 84% believed that they would have a direct relationship with their customers by 2015. And in order to be successful, they highlighted that personalization, anytime, anywhere access, and create unique content were the keys to succeeding in this new relationship. But as he said before, it is a two-way relationship, not a one-way push. It is designed around what the customer wants, not what you want to sell. So the businesses need to change from that make and sell mentality to a sense and respond, putting the customer at the center of the thinking. And when you put the customer at the center of your thinking, there's three key planks that we see that will help you in that digital leadership and customer engagement. Measurement and analytics. It must be real time. It must be one view across the company, and you must also start to look at that as a source of new revenue for the company, as well as helping you design new products and new services. And to design new revenue streams, the chances are you will need to partner to come up with some different ideas and across industry. You've heard that telematics is coming in with the connected car, and you're seeing the car industry, the telcos, and the insurance companies start to work together to work out how they can reduce and come up with new products. Product, and key to that measurement and analytics, and we had it before, as exciting as the opportunity is, you must make sure that you've got elements of the compliance and risk framework in place. We've all seen recent breaches. If you start to have issues with privacy and security around your customers' data, your customers' personal data, that will give you brand damage into the future and be very difficult to come back from. Product and service delivery. Again, as we said, put the customer at the center of your thinking. Move to that sense and respond, reacting to what they want. Allow them to guide you in some of the products that you launch in the marketplace. And don't get too hung up about having it all with all the I's and all the T's crossed before it gets to market. The customer engagement as well, as we've heard, must be across every channel. That's the expectation today. Use the customers to help you make your business decisions, but remember it is a 24/7. They expect that engagement, they expect that kind of response. And so really, it's moving from those operational drivers of the business and what you want to give them needs to turn to that customer focus about you giving them what they've asked for and when they want it and where they want it. So as a bit of a recap, obviously, growing GDP, affluence, urbanization, large youthful audience, increased network capacity and investment underway in fiber and 4G, and also cheaper devices coming into the marketplace. And there is already a high penetration of smartphones. Creates a huge opportunity for digital media and entertainment companies. However, we recently finished a report on the Chinese market to look at the opportunities there. And it showed how critical it was that you need local partners and you need to be culturally sensitive, because each market, and even in a market, regions within that market are very different and very sensitive. And it needs to be remembered that one size does not fit all. Thank you for your time.